Cheers, Guzzlers. Nice cider. Oh look, I've got some nice rosy apples. Oh, I've got some Calvados. Oh look, there's some nice double cream. I wonder what we're going to use all that for. Well, we're in Normandy. Well, we ain't, but that's what we're cooking tonight. Normandy dish. I've got loads of recipes that I've been looking up and ready to prepare. Ancient ones, modern ones. And then I stumbled upon this one on one of the sites or channels that I follow. And I thought, this is nice and easy. Nice simple little dish for a change. I'll make that. So credit for this goes to Stefan. Cheers, Stefan. A Frenchman who runs the channel, the French Cooking Academy. So this is his recipe, okay, and it's going to be Normandy style pork chops. So apart from some butter, some olive oil, salt and pepper, and some pork chops, I've told you everything else that's in it. Okay, we're going to need 2 pans. We're going to need another drink. So let's get going with our Normandy style pork chops. So first thing we're going to do, because it don't take too long to cook all this, but what we're going to do is we're going to peel these apples. I've almost called them onions in. We're going to peel these apples. Now I've got about 5 or 6 here because they're quite small, okay, and I've got 4 chops, so 2 chops each, and we're not actually having it with anything else, we're just having the chops and apple. No veg or anything. So if you were going to accompany it with something else, you might want to cut back on your pork. Okay, in which case you won't want quite so much in the way of apple. But what we're going to do is we're going to peel these. Okay, and then I'm going to slice them thinly after I've cored them. And then we're going to start cooking the pork. Okay, and then once we've cooked the pork, we're going to take the pork out, we're going to make the sauce while the apples are cooking, and then we're going to put the pork back into the sauce, and then we're going to serve it, and we're going to put the apples on top with some sauce. Quite a saucy dish, really. So, I'm just going to keep peeling these. That cider's looking a bit lonely, isn't it? Perhaps I better have a stop. You know, I have done, this is my 4th, but I need a bit of peel on that. This is my 4th apple. I really need a rest, and I really need a rest. I think I need a drink. I've peeled them, I've cored them, and what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to slice them thinly. And then we're going to start cooking them off, and we're going to cook them off in a frying pan. It can be any pan you like, to be honest, but I did think there was another reason why it was sort of about the right time. I'm not quite sure actually when I'm going to be putting this out on YouTube, but it's actually not long after, if not about the right time, for the Norman invasion of England. Now obviously we've missed 1066, the battle of Hastings. That was earlier, but at the time obviously William had conquered Harold, but then he had to go trooping all around the country, although down here in Kent he apparently came to an agreement and didn't have to fight us. I can't quite remember how it goes, why it was, but anyway, I've got a feeling it's about now, date wise, when William was actually crowned, but I might be wrong. Well, no, hang on, no, I think he was crowned in December, but I think it's about now that he was finally accepted that he was he was in the king. I might be wrong, I don't know. So, I'm just going to finish off cutting these up. Oh, all this thought of apple makes me think I need another cider. Oh no, a drink of cider. I don't need another cider yet. I've got cider there, don't I? But I might need another drink of cider. Seems to be a lot of apple here. I might not use all of this, but we'll see how we go when cooking it. So I've got my nice heavy pan, the aluminium pan. Hey, I cooked something in here the other night. You know, I've always said in the past, nothing ever sticks to this bugger. I cooked chicken and leek risotto in here. And when I come wash it up, some of the leek didn't want to come off. First time ever, stuck with that. Anyway, so what we're going to do there, we're going to start off by putting 20 grams of butter into that. Not in a dish. Okay, so 20 grams of butter in there, and because, pardon me, how disgraceful, because we don't want that butter burning, we're just going to add a bit of oil. Okay, and now the rest of the butter is for cooking the I was going to say tomato. What's wrong with me tonight? I was going to say tomato then. For cooking the I said onion again, the apple. Alright, so I'll put this on to about a medium to high heat when it starts to light. And what we're going to do is we're then just going to cook these chops. We're going to do them about 4 or 5 minutes on each side. These are quite thick chops, okay? No bone in them, I don't think. Can't see it. Well, there's a little bit of bone at the end of that one. Okay, so when that's got up temperature, Tesco's have pork chops. Didn't have any chicken. Didn't have any skim milk. Semi-skim, sorry. They had skim milk. We haven't had skimmed milk from Tesco's for ages. Keep saying, ain't got any. And then they start supplying skim milk, and then go, oh, we ain't got any semi-skimmed. Not that's got anything to do with this. No milk in this. So, when we've got this up to temperature, get it foaming a bit, okay, don't you dare go in. What we'll do is, like I say, we're going to put the chops in, and we're going to cook them on one side till they're partially cooked, and then we're going to flip them over and carry on cooking them. We're not actually going to cook them anymore, so we want to obviously make sure the pork's good. You really need some sort of sauce with it. I'll get the expert here. I'll get the expert. Because the pork does tend to, if you're not careful, can be quite dry. So this is why we're having it in a sauce. Okay. I'm whittering on here. I'm just waiting for this bloody butter to get up temperature. Look, it won't even melt off me tongs at the minute. Did I say, by the way, you need to put your oven on, because once we've cooked the pork, we're going to prepare. We take the pork out to prepare the sauce in the same pan, and we're going to keep the pork warm in the oven. So I've got the oven on, and I've got a tray, and I've got some foil. So we're going to cover it over, and like I say, it'll go in the oven, keep it warm. So I'll turn the temperature down once it's up temperature. Okay, and then once we've started cooking that pork, we're then in this pan. We're going to start cooking the apple. Oh, I must pick the cream up, then drink that. Oh look, there's more in there than it was in the last video. Look at what's going on here. I'm not doing them all out of order. Anyway, I'm going to wait for this to get up temperature, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to put the pork. Don't you dare go in. When we're ready for the pork to go in. Got me nice heavy pan, the aluminium pan. Hey, I cooked something in here the other night. You know, I've always said in the past, nothing ever sticks to this bugger. I cooked chicken and leek risotto in here. When I come wash it up, some of the leek didn't want to come off. First time ever, stuck with that. Anyway, so what we're going to do there, we're going to start off by putting 20 grams of butter into that. Not in a dish. Okay, so 20 grams of butter in there, and because, pardon me, how disgraceful, because we don't want that butter burning, we're just going to add a bit of oil. Okay, and now the rest of the butter is for cooking the going to say tomato. What's wrong with me tonight? I was going to say tomato then. For cooking the, I said onion again. The apple. Alright, so I'll put this on to about a medium to high heat. And it's nice and light. And what we're going to do is we're then just going to cook these chops. We're going to do them about 4 or 5 minutes on each side. These are quite thick chops, okay? No bone in them, I don't think. Can't see it. Well, there's a little bit of bone at the end of that one. Okay, so when that's got up temperature, Tesco's have pork chops. Didn't have any chicken. Didn't have any skim milk. Semi-skim, sorry. They had skim milk. We haven't had skimmed milk from Tesco's for ages. Keep saying ain't got any. And then they start supplying skim milk and then go, oh, we ain't got any semi-skimmed. Not that's got anything to do with this. No milk in this. So when we've got this up to temperature, get it foaming a bit, okay, what we'll do is, like I say, we're going to put the chops in and we're going to cook them on one side till they're partially cooked, and then we're going to flip them over and carry on cooking them. We're not actually going to cook them anymore, so we want to obviously make sure the pork's cooked. You really need some sort of sauce with it. I'll get the expert here. Because the pork does tend to, if you're not careful, can be quite dry. So this is why we're having it in a sauce. Okay. I'm whittering on here. I'm just waiting for this bloody butter to get up temperature. Look, it won't even melt off me tongs at the minute. Did I say, by the way, you need to put your oven on, because once we've cooked the pork, we're going to prepare. We take the pork out to prepare the sauce in the same pan, and we're going to keep the pork warm in the oven. So I've got the oven on, and I've got a tray, and I've got some foil. So we're going to cover it over, and like I say, it'll go in the oven, keep it warm. So I'll turn the temperature down once it's up temperature. Okay, and then once we've started cooking that pork, we're then in this pan. We're going to start cooking the apple. Oh, I must pick the cream up, then drink that. Oh look, there's more in there than it was in the last video. What's going on here? I'm not doing them all out of order. Anyway, I'm going to wait for this to get up temperature, and I'll come back to you when we're ready to put pork. Don't you dare go in. When we're ready for the pork to go in. So that's just starting to foam them up a bit. So we're going to take these pork chops, and like I say, we're going to put them in here. I'm going to try and fit them all in, and then we're just going to cook them. Don't put that bloody bit of paper at the bottom in there. We're going to cook them for about 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, we're going to get them done, nicely done on that side, and then one's for the dish and one's for me, making sure I've got the one that comes more in for me. So, funny looking bit of bone on there, just lying on there. So I'm just going to cook these and get rid of this, and we'll start cooking the apple. What I should have told you is what we're going to do is just going to add some salt to that pork. Okay, freshly ground Himalayan pink salt. Okay, we're not really going to add any pepper to this stage, because we're going to be adding a little bit of pepper to the sauce. So in my other pan, put the other temperature on, and I've just remembered, of course, I've got to use this thing on this butter. Right, that's loose. Right, and again, roll that on about a medium heat. Put that on there. Turn that around, this thing handle's not on. And I've got about 30 grams of butter there. Okay, that's going to go in there. We're going to melt that up. Hard work, isn't it? So when that's melted, we're going to chuck them onions. Keep calling these bloody onions. Cook, chuck. I can't speak. That is my first sort of stroke second cider of the day. I haven't been drinking all day. So perhaps that's the problem. We're going to put them apples in there, and then we're just going to add a little bit of pepper, a little bit of salt. But don't go overboard on the pepper, because we don't want it a peppery sauce. Okay. So we will add a little bit of pepper. We add a little bit more salt, and then we're just going to let them cook. Okay, you might turn the heat down a bit once they're going, toss them. Sorry, I'm just checking the doors. We toss them and keep them cooking while we sort of keep our eye on this and make the sauce. And basically then just keep cooking and start to caramelise a bit while we get the rest of it done. So, we're not quite melted yet. Get in there, get in there. So, not really much I can tell you about history lesson really. I think we've done that, didn't we? There we go, I think that's ready. So in then go them, oh, a bit there, didn't want to go in. And then, like I say, a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, will do, because we can always add more later. Can't take away. You can have a takeaway if you like, they're bloody well better not. Should be watching this. So, I'm just going to keep my eye on these, and we're just going to let them cook. We want them cooked and softened and browning a bit, caramelising. Okay, they've coming up for about 5 minutes. Let me just have a little look. Now I'm going to leave them a little bit longer. Now can I get them laying flat in there? Little bugger. Sorry, bad language. So I'll turn them in a bit. Getting bored waiting for these pork chops. You can see here the onions are starting to brown nicely. It's warm in here. I'd open the back door, but it's pissing hard down there, and it ended up all coming in here. I had to open the door to front door yesterday for the old Tesco man. It weren't raining as hard as this. And after he'd gone, I thought, what the bloody hell's that all over the floor? Bloody water run off the door. A great puddle. One more nice laminate. Anyway, I've turned temperature down a little bit of this because obviously we're still cooking these. There's a lot of water coming out of these. You know, typical British bloody meat, pumped full of bloody water. What you want to do, even if it weren't water, any fat that comes out of this, we're going to get rid of most of it. Okay, when we make the sauce, really, the sauce is the cider and the cream, which we're going to, well, we use the cider to deglaze a pan. And like I said to you before, this pan won't need much deglazing because bugger all sticks to it unless it leaks, as I told you earlier. So I'm just going to cook these chops for a couple more minutes. And then I'm going to transfer them. I've got a tray ready. Like I say, I've got my oven on, and then I'm just going to cover them in foil. I'm going to put them in the oven, keep them warm, and make the sauce. And the bloody wife decided she wanted cider. Didn't want cider when I asked her, you know, yesterday before we ordered it. So I thought, that's right. That's me sorted for the night. That's the last of it, because she drank the bloody rest. Apart from that bit there, but I've got to keep that because that's got to go in there. Oh dear, I have to open the wine. This pork is just about done now, so I'm just going to transfer that onto this tray. Like I said, there's a lot of water in there. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in here, cover it over, and then what I'll do is I'm going to empty most of that out of there. Okay, I suppose we could see if it reduces down, but it's going to be a bloody while. Amount of water come out of these bloody pork chops. I'm going to have chicken. Oh look, a lovely French Bordeaux. Don't have any French wine. Oh, that tastes different after I've had cider. It's actually a Malbec, which isn't a traditional French one. Didn't have any French. I think we've got one somewhere. Got some champagne. That's not chilled. Anyway, so I'm going to get this in the oven, keep it warm, and then we'll address that pan. Well, we won't, we'll sort it out. It's just a pan, I ain't bloody well doing anything special to address it. Good evening, pan. I told you I was going to address the pan, didn't I? Good evening, pan. Are you ready to be deglazed? I don't know what you want to ask that. So this is where I'm going to take your cider. So I've emptied out almost all of that water and fat that's in there. So all we're going to do now is in goes that cider. There's about 150 ml of cider. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're just going to, pardon me, we're now just going to deglaze that pan. There's a few little bits of caramelised pork or whatever on there, and we're just going to heat that through. Okay, and then we'll be turning the heat down because we've got to add the cream to it. We've almost called them bloody potatoes this time. Right, apples are getting nicely cooked. Okay, they're browning nicely. I can't remember what they were. I don't know if they were pink ladies or whatever. But anything like that, just some nice eating apples. Okay, you don't have to be cooking apples for this. Okay. Does anybody else, or is it just the English, have cooking apples, Bramleys? I don't know. But some nice sweet apples. I did eat one earlier. They're nice. Okay. So they're carrying on cooking. That bit wants to stay on there. Oh, it don't want to come off. Come off now. So we're just cooking that through, deglazing the pan. They're bloody handles, right? These are new handles I bought. These aren't them bloody cheap things that I bought before that didn't do buck of all. Having said that, they do say they will get hot. It's just not as hot as a pan. Let's try this now. So I'm just going to let this come up to the boil. Now don't worry about the alcohol coming off because we've got some Calvados we're going to be chucking in. So I've got about 100 ml of double cream and I've got about 2 teaspoons of Calvados. Like I said, Calvados is optional. Bloody French, put it in. That's been reduced in about 1 to 2 minutes. So at this point we take our cream, we add our cream, turn the heat down. And we now just blend that cream in. Like I say, you'll typically find that probably in France, in Normandy, they'd use a lot more cream than that. But we're trying to keep it so it's not too rich and a bit more healthy. All right. By the way, wife, if you're watching this before you eat it, oh, that's zero fat cream I've just put in there. Actually, she knows it ain't because she bought it. Well, she wanted it at Tesco. So I'm now just turn the heat down because we don't obviously want to just check in. Oh, it's warm. So I'm just going to blend that in, and we're just going to let that cook through for a bit. Now that cream has been out of the fridge for a little while, so it's not like it's freezing cold. All right. So I'm just going to cook that up for a bit, and then at this point we're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. That's why I was saying don't add too much at this stage because we can always add some more later. Okay, so I'm just going to let this cook through for a little bit. Okay, we don't chuck Calvados in yet, lose all the bloody alcohol out of it, won't we? So that's up to temperature. I'm going to turn that right down low, and at this point I'll put the optional 1 to 2 teaspoons of Calvados in. Give that a little stir in to get our chops out of the oven. Foil off, and then I'm just going to place these chops back into that. Oops, there we go. I'll sort out how they go in there in a minute, but all this juices, even though most of that's probably more bloody water, I'm just going to tip it into there as well. Okay, I'll use some tongs. And so all we're going to do now is we're just going to warm these chops through in that sauce. Okay, I might turn them over. Me apple is still, I don't know yet, you can see that there, nicely browned. So the apple's just about there. So like I say, we're not going to put anything, we're not having this with anything, we're just having the chops with the apple and sauce and some vino. But I mean, it's up to you. You can serve it with some potatoes. So if you really have it with rice in Normandy, yeah, I think normally just potatoes, perhaps a bit of veg. I'm on the small ring, so I might turn that up a little bit. So I'm just going to warm them through a bit, turn them over in a minute. So, as I always say, almost there now. So, then chops now warm through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take them out, place them on the plate when they decide to play ball. Okay. Come here. And then we're going to take those apples, and I'm just going to, I'll show you in a minute, I'm just going to lay some of these apples over the top of the pork chops. Wash Molly down from the bath. She's done her mermaid bit. So there we go. Put that in there. Turn that off. Let's get a spoon. Get a cloth. So now what I do is I just pour this sauce over the top. Whoops, splashing it every bloody way. More left in there if you want it. Just clean this up, made a bloody mess. And there we have our Normandy style pork chops. Can't really taste it because I need 2 hands and I need to put it down. But rest assured it's going to taste bloody good. Better bloody do. Bloody wife better appreciate it.